Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as we winter sow some anise hyssop seeds. So let's go. Some people call it anise, some people call it anise. It's also known as hummingbird mint, and then other people call it Agastache, Agastache. They're all one and the same thing, depending on how you want to say the name. It's a perennial that's hardy here where I live in New Hampshire Zone 5B. They come in a wide spectrum of colors, ranging from blue, purple, white, pink, lavender, apricot, coral, and even yellow. I've never used it for edible purposes, but I've heard you can take the leaves and flowers and put them in a tea or a salad. It even makes for a wonderful cut flower in a floral display. This plant, known for attracting lots of pollinators such as bees, butterflies, and even the hummingbirds, is known to be drought tolerant once it's established in your garden. It is part of the mint family, so if you find that the plant is taking over a certain section of your garden, it's very easy to pull out. You can always move it somewhere else in your garden, or you can give it away to someone else that doesn't have this plant. The seeds are very easy to collect. In fact, the seeds that we're going to sow today were seeds I collected a number of years ago. If you don't know how to collect the seeds from Agastache, what I'll do is put a link to a video I made down in the description below. And if you don't have the seed and you want to start the plant from seed, you can always look online. I can put some links to some reputable sites that I've found that sell Agastache seeds. Growing plants from seed is one of the cheapest ways to garden. And when you buy your own packet of seeds, just getting a few plants to grow will pay for the packet of seeds itself. These seeds need about a 30-day cold period in order for them to break dormancy and germinate. And that's the biggest reason why I love the winter sowing process. Just by me doing this process now and putting my container out in the elements, it's going to get that chill period that the seeds need. But if you are planning to grow this plant from seed indoors under, let's say, grow lights, you'll want to make sure you give your seeds that cold period. And you can do that by just popping the seed packet in your refrigerator for a minimum of 30 days. If you are planning to start your seeds indoors, you want to do it somewhere around 4 to 6 weeks before your average last frost date. Another option is you can take the seeds and just sprinkle them out in your landscape. I don't normally like to do that. I like to have a more controlled way of doing it, but that is another option. The seeds need light to germinate, so when you sow the seeds, you want to just barely press the seeds into the soil surface. And if you are going to cover them very lightly. Regardless of how you sow your seeds, the seeds will germinate when the soil temperature is somewhere between 60 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And once that soil temperature is met, the seeds will start to germinate within 7 to 20 days. Now, I don't have this plant anywhere in my yard. I did successfully winter sow the seeds a few years ago, and then I potted up my seedlings, and they're currently in their pots down in my backyard plant nursery. It's a place where I like to temporarily hold plants, not only for myself, but it's also a place where I hold plants and sell to other people in the area. I've made a lot of videos showing my process for winter sowing. It's quite repetitive. I'm going to insert that clip now, and then I'll show you also my process for sowing these particular seeds. I like to use milk jugs for winter sowing. You can use whatever you like. Just make sure that your container is clear or translucent. Your container should have holes in the top to allow snow or rain to come in. And that's why I've thrown away the cap. If you find that you're running out of containers like this, you can reach out to local coffee shops. Oftentimes, they'll hold them aside for you for free. Your container should hold about 4 inches of potting mix. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it where we're going to be cutting. I like to use heavy-duty cutting snips or shears just like this because it makes it a lot easier for me to cut my containers. You could use something like scissors or a razor, whatever you have on hand. But no matter what you use, just make sure you're safe if it's sharp. Whatever container you use, it should have drainage holes in the bottom. And the reason is you want water to be able to drain out. The larger your container, the more drainage holes you may need to add. There are different ways you can add drainage holes. I just like to use my cutting shears to do the holes. Other people have used the end of a hot glue gun. Some people have used a drill. And there are a lot of other things you can use to cut the bottom of your container. I like to cut the holes first and then cut my container over here. I find that cutting the holes first is a little bit easier because the container is still sturdier. When I cut, I'm going to be cutting starting right around here. I'm going to go almost all the way around, and I'm going to stop around here. And the reason I'm not cutting all the way through is because I want this section right here to act as a hinge. Eventually, when the seeds germinate, and I have seedlings in here, on the days that are warm, I'm going to have to open up my container, just like this. But then on the cooler days or cooler nights, if a frost is expected, I want to go ahead and close my container. So now you can see how this little hinge works on the end here. Now let's go ahead and fill our container with potting mix. I like to use used potting mix that I had in my summer container pots. You can also make your own potting mix, and I'll put a link to that down below. Or you can buy your own potting mix. Make sure you don't use seed starting mix because it dries out very quickly. If you're going to buy potting mix, make sure that it's a well-draining potting mix. You don't want the potting mix that retains moisture. Also, don't use heavy garden soil or compost if it doesn't drain well for you. No matter what you use, make sure that it's pre-moistened. After you've filled your container, go ahead and press down lightly to remove any air pockets. Here are the seeds that we're going to sow today. I collected these seeds from a local park, and there are a lot of seeds in there. We're not going to be sowing all of the seeds, just a small amount. Well, I say a small amount. About that many. There's quite a few seeds still there, but that's a close-up of what the anise hyssop seeds look like. I'm not worrying too much about spacing. These seeds are teeny tiny, so I am liberally spreading them on the soil surface. It's up to you how many seeds you want to sow. There is no magical right or wrong number. Just know that the more seeds that you sow, the trickier it can be in terms of pulling these seedlings apart. A lot of times I like to use the hunk of seed or HOS method, which just means taking a chunk of seedlings that are together and putting them out in the landscape. But if you wanted to take apart each individual seedling, you could do that. If you only wanted to sprinkle 5 or 7 seeds in this whole container, you could do that as well. And since I collected my own seeds, it's never a guarantee that every single seed will germinate. And if every single seed does germinate, that's a bonus. The seeds need light to germinate, which is why we're just pressing on the seeds. We want the seeds to make good contact with the potting mix. If you were sowing the seeds indoors under grow lights, you could top the seeds with something like vermiculite. That would allow moisture to retain or stay in, but it would also allow light to come in because the seeds need that light to germinate. Some people like to sprinkle the top of their winter sown containers with vermiculite. I've never done that, and this process still works for me. I made a plant label, and I'm going to keep it on the inside of my container. That way, if for whatever reason the label that's on the outside gets lost or worn off, we have a secondary label that's on the inside of our container. And I do like to use a garden marker. I find that they will last longer and they won't wear off as much as a Sharpie. You can also use an oil-based pencil or pen. For labels, some people like to use used Venetian blinds, or they like to use plastic knives. Another option is to take a used yogurt container and then cut it into little strips, and then you can use those as labels. Even though our potting mix is pre-moistened, I'm going to go ahead and give additional water. I just have a small hand water spray here just to mist the top, but you can use whatever you want for adding water in the top. Seeds that need light to germinate that I press into the top soil, the stream of water would be lighter. And the reason is I wouldn't want seeds to move around while I'm spraying. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe the side of my container because we added water and we're going to be adding tape next, and I want the tape to stick. I've been using duct tape for a number of years to close my containers. However, I've heard painter's tape works very well. In fact, it's a lot easier to remove from a container than duct tape. So if I were you, you could try either one, and I think either one would be fine. I've also heard of other people taking a hole puncher, punching a hole up here, punching a hole down here, and then sealing their container shut with something like a twist tie or a zip tie. Other people have actually cut the top all the way across, and then they nest the top part into the bottom part. And in essence, they're eliminating using any other thing like tape. The problem I find with that method is then I can't easily open and close my container, and also I can't easily pick up and move my container around. I have to pick it up like this. But try whatever method works best for you. I'm just going to use a small strip of duct tape and cut that off, and I'm going to place it on one side of my container. When it comes to winter sowing perennial seeds, I like to just use 2 or 3 strips of duct tape on my container. Some people like to tape their container all the way around. I have not done that for years, and this process has worked for me. when winter sowing perennial seeds, because these perennials are hardy in my area, and I found that it's not a problem. If a little cold air is coming in here, it doesn't affect my hardy perennials. However, if I'm going to winter sow a tender annual, like a vegetable plant or a flower that cannot tolerate a frost or a freeze, in that case, I would be putting tape all the way around. And now I'm going to label the outside of my container on the duct tape using my garden marker. And I used to label up here on my container, but I found that I can reuse my container for at least 2 years if I take good care of it. So for that reason, I like to label on the tape itself. And I only put the name of the plant on here. Other people like to put the date that they've sown their seeds. It's up to you how much information you want to put on there. And not everyone likes to write out the names of the plants. Some people just like to use some sort of a number system. So they have a piece of paper or they have a notebook, and on their container, they might just put a number, like number 1. And then in their notebook or on their paper, they would say 1 is equal to an allium. And then for the next container, they would do a number 2. And then in their paper, 2 is equal to whatever the plant is that's in that container. You want to place your containers out in the open where snow or rain can come inside the holes that are in the top of your container. In other words, you don't want to place them under a covered porch, eaves, or anything like that. If your containers are out where it's very windy, you may need to put something around your containers to keep them from falling over. Remember, different seeds germinate at different times. Be patient, and also be patient with the whole process of sowing perennials from seed. You know what they say, the first year perennials sleep. The second year they creep, and then the third year they leap. At the end of the day, the whole reason we're starting perennials from seed is to save money in our garden, and also it's a fun process. I have many other videos on my channel that go over the winter sowing process, what to do next, lessons I've learned along the way. I'll put a link to that playlist down below as well as up above. Be sure to join a free Facebook community group that talks all about the winter sowing process. I go out there often, every single year, to get a lot of great information. There are a lot of wonderful admins as well as moderators that check that group, and also Trudy Davidoff, who came up with this whole idea of the winter sowing concept, worked with the USDA, and she's also part of this community. And remember, when it comes to winter sowing, you want to wait until after the winter solstice, which is around December 21st. And that's when the nighttime temperatures are consistently below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And that date is an estimate. You might be able to start earlier, you might be able to start later. It really depends on your climate. But when it comes to starting perennial seeds, some seeds need 30, 60, 90, or even 120 days chill period. You always want to do your homework, your research on which perennial seeds you're trying to winter sow, how long of a cold period they need, and make sure you're giving them that cold period. If you live somewhere where your containers are frozen, like where mine are right now, then you don't need to add any additional water. But once my containers do thaw out in the springtime, at that point, I need to monitor them for moisture. I don't want them to dry out, and if I'm not getting any sort of rain, then I need to be able to add water to those containers. You might live in an area where your containers don't freeze, so it's very important to make sure you're checking them for moisture from day 1. You don't want to wait until you see seeds germinating. As soon as you sow those containers and put them outside, you want to be checking them regularly. And you want to pick them up. If they feel light, you want to add water to them. Let me know in the comments if you've ever started anise hyssop from seed, and if so, how did you do it? Did you do it through the winter sowing process? Did you just sprinkle the seeds outdoors? Or did you start the seeds indoors under your grow lights? And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.